What is your name?
My name is Terry Ames.
What city and state were you born?
I was born in Cape Charles, Virginia.
What was the world like for you at my age?
At 10 years old, I was just a young man going to elementary school. My chores, we had chores to do. We came home in the afternoon. And basically, grew up in a neighborhood where everybody looked after each other, you know. We were watching the kids and everything.
Did you attend a segregated, integrated school?
You know, we basically segregated because the whites went to one school and the blacks went to another school. But during the segregation time, they started segregating and letting blacks go to the white school, but they wanted the blacks to go to the white school, but they didn't want the white kids to come over to the black school. So I elected to stay from my school. I graduated from all black high school.
What was your community like growing up?
It was a nice community. We had working families. Everybody, like I said, everybody looked after each other. You know, when your mother and father was not around, and somebody stepped in and looked after you. You always had someone to look after you.
Have you ever experienced racism, some level of racism in your life?
Yeah.
If so, how has that experience changed you?
I mean, when I was growing up, you know, like we go to the restaurants, we couldn't go inside and sit down in the restaurant. We had to order, place our orders, and then we had to go to the back door and pick it up at the back door. And I think me experiencing something like that, you know, made me a better person because I know how to treat.
What advice would you give me regarding being safe in this country?
Being safe in this country?
Yes.
I would tell you when you leave home and everything, make sure you watch yourself. And when if the police happen to stop you or something, don't run, don't give the police a hard time. You know, stay there and do as they tell you to do. I mean, because it's really hard on a young black man who was being stopped. You know, they would hurt to you, you know, just to do whatever they tell you to do.
What do you think about all the current events that's happening in this country regarding racism?
That's a tough one there. Growing up, knowing that what it was like growing up being young and you know in your life, it's part of it. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, you know.
What do you think we can do to help with race relations in this country?
Everybody should just love one another. Put a little love in your heart, love your neighbors, and love, regardless of the color of the skin. Martin Luther King said, you know, judge me not by the color of my skin, but by the character. So just love everybody that regardless of the color of their skin or whatever, you know. But not just because they're white, you stop them from, don't let the blacks, the whites, not like us because we're black.
Where do you think we'll be 30 years from now as it pertains to racism in America?
racism, I think it will always be there because the one race of people think that they're much superior to the other one. I think racism will always be, it's a part of living. I think it will always be there. Okay, better.
Was it racism in the army? Papa, was it racism in the army when you served?
Right? Oh yes, that's like what was going on. In the military is a whole different thing. Like it's a world within itself. We have our own stores. Military is just another world, and just like what's going on the outside, it affected us too because we had to try to obey and do by orders, but yet still we wanted to do what was right for us, our race and color and everything. So it was kind of hard in the military because you had so many rules and regulations that you had to follow. So it wasn't very much you could do for protesting and things like that. But yet still, if something came about you take your opinion, how you feel about it.
Will things get better or stay the same or get worse?
Excuse me?
Will things get better or stay the same or get worse for racism?
It's gonna get better. It's got to get better, because it's a different. Every generation there's a different breed of people, so everybody's not the same. So it's the way people used to think. They got to change the way we was thinking back in the day. So
Thank you, Papa.
My father, Mr. Tundi Amen. Our topic today is racism.
Good evening.
How does racism affect you?
Yeah, racism affects me not only me personally, right? But collectively, it affects everybody because when you look at it, racism causes a lot of people of age and physically harm one another. Yeah.
How do you feel about racism?
Racism, if I may say, racism is ugly and very devastating. So imagine how peacefully this world would be without being racist against each other or discriminating. Yeah.
What do you think about racism?
Yeah, if I want to say what I think about racism, it's a discrimination against people's culture and their personalities.
What is your name and birthplace?
My name is Ricardo Evanson. I was born in Port of Spain, Trinidad, in the West Indies, and I was raised here in Brooklyn, New York. I actually lived here for 42 years.
What was the world like when you were 9?
When I was your age, you're going to be 10. Okay, so you're 10. When I was your age, we still had the conflict in the Middle East. We had apartheid in South Africa. We had the division of peoples in the United States of America. And we had, that systemic racism that continues till today.
Did you attend a segregated/integrated school?
I attended an integrated school. My school right here, this is PS149. This is the first school that I attended when I came to this country. I started in the 4th grade. And back then it was a mixed school. And because the community was mixed, it was black, white, and Hispanic.
What was your community like?
Well, although we were a mixed community of black, white, and Hispanic, everybody pretty much looked out for each other. So you could say that I had Irish mother, an Italian mother, a couple of Spanish mothers. I didn't learn that until later on in life.
Have you ever experienced some level of racism?
Yeah, I've experienced a bunch of levels of racism in my life.
How has that experience changed you?
I look at life as someone's ignorance is their ignorance. Someone's bias is their bias. I'm better than most people that are negative and biased. I came from a mixed family. I have mixed family, so I don't really look at black and white, but I do look at the system which continues to, treat people of color like second-class citizens. I don't appreciate that, and I would not look to that as a way to have my kids grow up.
What evidence would you give me regarding being safe in this country?
I would say, first of all, educate yourself. Make sure you pay attention to your education. Secondly, know the law. Know what you're doing, right? I mean, there's times where you're being assaulted. You don't know when you're being assaulted. There's times when you're being forced into a situation which is against the law. So my advice to you would be know the law, right? Live your life the right way and try to do what's always right. Regardless of you doing what's always right, somebody's always going to be on the back end of that. Somebody's going to be on the wrong side of that. So just do what you always think is right. Live your life the right way. Know the law so that you can treat people the right way, and just expect to be treated the way that you treat people.
What do you think about all the current events in this country regarding racism?
Well, this country is set up with a system that allows the murder of black people. I mean, you have a black man being shot for holding a cell phone, for holding a bag of Skittles, for holding a soda. So you have young people of color being shot because officers are scared for their lives just because they're working in a neighborhood where they already come into the community thinking that this person's a bad guy. But these are just people going about their everyday lives. And if you're in uniform carrying a weapon, you can't be a coward. You can't think that everybody's out to get you. So, the way things are, if these people are being raised with the thoughts and beliefs that everybody who's a person of color is somebody who's a bad guy, then they're already coming to work with a bad idea, right? Kids are being shot carrying cell phones, Skittles, and soda, where you have white people that are walking around on the street with weapons, with loaded guns, that are not being shot, that are brought in. You have white people that are assaulting police officers, dragging them down the streets in a car chase, and not being shot. But someone sitting in their car with their husband, with their wife and their child, who actually says I have a weapon in their glove compartment, is being shot after they've already told the officer they have a weapon. It's a double standard. The same standard that can apply to a white person who actually commits more felonious crimes than a black person should be allowed for that person of color. So what I think is, I think that police officers have the ability to decide when to use force, and for some reason, based on their training or their upbringing, their bias is telling them to shoot the person of color.
What do you think we can do to help with the race relations in this country?
First of all, I think younger people of all races have a better grip on race relations. The people who make the decisions, people in Congress, people who are already part of the old boy network, people who are part of the system that created this bad racial situation in the first place, they're the ones who are causing the problem. What we need to do is change the system, change the training, change the way we educate our police officers, our law enforcement, our government officials on how to deal with everyone and apply that fair treatment across all races. Now, if we can do that, we can absolutely fix race relations in this country, but it first has to do with fixing the system. The system's broken because of all the past idiocies that's gone into it, right? And we need to make it so that it's formal. Everything applies to everybody equally across lines, and that's racial lines and financial lines.
What do you think will be in 30 years from now as it pertains to racism in America? Will things get better, stay the same, or get worse? Please explain.
Well, my thinking is if everybody who's running the country in that time is under the age of 57, I think it might get better, because then the stigma of race as it is now will not be as what it was, what it was 20 years ago. Everybody that's over 57 right now in government was actually a part of the racial situation that happened back in the 60s and 70s. So they grew up in that Jim Crow era, racist, biased era. And the new kids that are coming up, they're going to integrated schools. They have black friends, Asian friends, white friends, and they're all getting along. So if that would continue, and if we can, retrain the system or change the system so that everyone's inclusive, right, it's going to get better. It would get worse if we continue to put the families who are, for the last 40 years, continuously going into government with their racist and biased ideas, right? If we keep on letting those families go into government and become our representatives, it's going to stay the same. It may even get worse, because as it is now, you have so few people that have power. I mean, all the power belongs to still the wealthy rich who just happen to be white, and they want to maintain their power situation. They want to maintain the status quo, and they do not want to see people of color, and I mean black, brown, and Asian, move up. But we're going to continue to do what we do. We're going to continue to stay positive. We're going to continue to overcome and overreach, and eventually we're going to show them how they should have been doing things for the last 50 years.
Anything you would like to add or share as we wrap up this interview?
Jordan, I think just by this conversation, I've known you for a couple of years now, and you appear to be someone who has the power and the ability to change the future. I absolutely believe that based on positive thinking, based on acceptance of people, realizing that there's differences in culture, and accepting that those differences are there because of culture. Right? This is the United States of America. We're the melting pot of the world. We're probably the only country in the world who has every racial group in it. Right? That being said, you're in a position in the next 30 years where you could end up being president, where you could end up being a state representative or a senator, and you'll be the one making these decisions. You'll be the one guiding the police departments. You'll be the one guiding the State Department. You'll be the one guiding the people that make the decisions on behalf of everyone else how we should live our lives here in the United States of America. I personally think, if we had a lot more mixed people on the panel, I think that if we had reflexive people, a reflexive group of representatives, I mean Asians, African Americans, white, Latinos, everybody showing out and stepping up and actually getting out there and doing everything for the benefit of everyone, not just their individual racial groups, it might be a better place to live. Coming here and asking me these questions, and if we should ever do this in the future, I wish